No, it's not funny. I think it's funny. I wanted to show you how to crack open an acorn. Hi guys, the family's been asking for acorn bread again. So it's that time of year. I've got to make bread from acorns. If you don't know, acorns are a superfood, and apparently in South Korea, the environmental police people, the environmental, what do you call them? I'm not talking to you! I'm making a video! Environmental activists are chasing down people who are picking up acorns in the park because apparently the squirrels are nuts for them. The environmental activists apparently are upset with people in South Korea because the latest craze in superfood is the humble acorn. Now you can't eat these raw, they have to be processed before you eat them. A lot of people don't realize this, but even cashews have to be processed before eating because they are full of tannins. And they're sort of poisonous, they're sort of like not good for your liver, so you really want to wash those tannins out. And how you do that is you first need to remove the acorn from its shell, and then you'll boil acorns repeatedly in water and keep pouring off the dark liquid that comes out of them. As I crack open my acorns, I'm just dropping them into water, and some of those tannins are already coming loose. So let me show you how to open up an acorn. I find nutcrackers handy, and you can just crack them, but if they're too small to crack with a nutcracker, the shells are super soft, and you can actually cut into them if you had to, okay? Or if they're the bigger acorns, you can smash them with a hammer, and that's what I did in other years. But these acorns are right off my property, and I don't like the squirrels anyway. They can starve to death for all I care. I'm kidding. Once you've cracked the acorn with a nutcracker, it'll either pop in half or you'll break it the rest of the way in half with your knife. Use a round-ended knife. And the reason for this is because the pointy knife will go right through the shell of an acorn. I can show you my stab marks from using a pointy knife. These shells are super thin. And then, to get the meat out of the acorn, you just stick your round end knife between the meat and the shell, and you just give it a little pop, and your meat pops out. If you didn't get it all, those shells, they peel open pretty easily, and you can just pull them back. I attempted to soak them. It didn't make it any easier, so don't even bother soaking them before removing them from the shells. Doesn't matter. Just take your acorn, slide your knife between the shell and the meat, just wedge it out of there. And then for processing, really you boil it 3 to 4 times, changing water between. And that's it. That's it for getting them safe to eat. And then if you want to go further and make them into flour, then you need to dry them out in the oven. Not doing that for any particular reason. After they are processed, meaning after the tannins have been removed, then you will spread them out on a baking sheet and dry them out completely. And then you can grind them in a blender. Poor kid has a cold. That one cracked right in half, and then you just pop it out. If you find one that looks like this in the center, it's black, it's obviously rotten. And if you find any with worms in them, I just throw those aside. They're pretty rare if you get to your acorns pretty quick, but if you do, just toss them out or give them to your chickens. Chickens love worms, so. And they're not that picky. Acorn bread coming up next couple days. Pretty sure I already made a video on that. Yeah, you did. Did I make an acorn, like a bread in the shape of an acorn? Because that would have been cool. Maybe that's the one I made in the shape of the hedgehog. That was an awesome bread. And here I'll show you the article about the people chasing down people trying to steal the acorns from the poor little squirrels who need to eat. I got a black one. Ew. Now the black one's on the floor. If you like this channel, please subscribe. And if you like this video, please give me a like. Do you think it's okay to steal these acorns from the squirrels? Or do you think that's super wrong, and why? Am I nuts for eating acorns? You take it in your hands. See a different side of me. I saw this website that said, oh, acorns are so healthy. And you know what it said to do with them? I mean, after processing, it said cover them in sugar and cinnamon and butter and stick them in the oven. But that's not healthy. But they didn't ask me for my opinion, apparently.
No, I don't think they did.
They did not ask me. When I make bread, I use 1 cup of acorn flour to 2 cups of regular flour. And if I find an acorn with a hole in it, I don't even bother, because I'll show you when you open up those ones. Well, it dented, you know there's nothing in there. The worm already ate it. So yeah, I don't even typically bother with ones with holes in it. Or cracks. If they're cracked, just skip that acorn. His hat popped off. Ah, my hat! Oh. The French.
It's not funny, you make fun of French people. Oh no.
Put it on. Oh, thanks. Thanks for watching, you guys. I hope you do try Acorns, the new superfood. Well, you're not supposed to be talking right now because I'm making a video! Cut! This is why editing is so hard. Okay, hang on just a minute, okay? No.
Wow.
What?
That's not funny, you make fun of the French people.
I leaving now. Okay, bye.